Welcome to another episode of A Moment of Tiki, coming to you from the Lagoon of Mystery, my home tiki bar here in Central Texas. Today, we are going to go back inside to the scene of crime where last month you saw me install the new tiki ceiling with the reed fencing and the bamboo lattice because I'm excited about this. I have gotten many questions over the years, not many, occasionally. People asking, how do you install Jade breezeway tiles? Jade breezeway tiles are, Chinese in origin. Many of them are imported. They became a tiki staple when the Trader Vic's restaurant chain started making them a centerpiece of the decor for those restaurants. So I have teamed up with Stroud Specifics, who produce these new make modern jade tiles because the vintage ones are becoming increasingly rare and more difficult to find. So what I am going to do is take these tiles from Stroud Specifics and show how I install them in a bamboo lattice structure. This may not be the quote-unquote official way. I didn't get a manual on this. I kind of figured it out my own, but I've messed with them before, and hopefully you will get some ideas, and this will help you on your journey if you come across any Chinese jade breezeway tiles and want to incorporate them into your tiki build. So let's go. Okay, I'm excited because I've gotten a package in from Stroud Specific. Stroud does a lot of really cool stuff, but what they're really known for are making modern day Chinese jade tiles. They cast them there, and they have the classic design as well as a number of other really cool ones. So, opening it up, got some packing foam, 2 layers of packing foam right here, cardboard. There's multiple layers of packing foam around the edges. Nice sticker. And here we go. Ooh. Ow. 2 jade tiles, shrink wrapped with a piece of cardboard in between to keep them from scratching and scuffing up. Wow, this is a really good packaging job, folks. I'm quite impressed with this. And you can see at the bottom, foam there too. So this is a top-notch shipping job. Absolutely. I am impressed with this. Right now, you may be sitting at home thinking, what is the deal? Why is he going on and on and on about packing and shipping, packaging and shipping, packaging and shipping? Well, I'll tell you, these jade tiles are kiln-fired ceramic, which means they are heavy and they are fragile. And if you have a seller who skimps on shipping, you are going to end up with a whole bunch of little pieces of jade tile that comes through. They're going to be damaged, and you're not going to be able to glue them back together, which is something that has happened time and time again. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people post online on social media and stuff, just heartbreaking pictures that they have saved up and ordered jade tiles only to have them arrive with maybe one little loop of bubble wrap around them. And the seller says, sorry, no refunds, and they didn't insure it either. So that's why I'm making such a big deal about this, because Stroud Specifics does package them very well and includes insurance for everything they send. I have previous experience with jade tiles. As you can see outside in the Lagoon of Mystery, I have 6 of them that I got from the group in Florida that had acquired them. From what I understand, this batch of tiles was imported by the thousands intending to be used in a chain of Chinese restaurants that fell through, and they stayed in warehouse storage for decades before this Florida group got them and began selling them. In addition to myself getting some of these, I know that Max's South Seas Hideaway acquired a bunch of them that they put up in that Tiki experience. So I would be remiss if I didn't compare this new production Jade tile from Stroud Specifics to what I already have. And the first thing I can see is that they are very similar, the same size, 12 by 12. It's basically a foot on each side here. This is a little darker green. This is a little brighter jade green. Broadly speaking, they look similar if you put them together. In a big mosaic, you wouldn't notice, but when you look closer, there are some differences. The flower design in the center is different. The little manta ray design in the corners vary slightly, as does the center fleur-de-lis, or whatever you want to describe it. But overall, this new production jade tile is comparable in every way to these more vintage ones that I was fortunate enough to get, and that makes me happy that these are available. I am going to mount these tiles into the recently completed ceiling inside. That's why I spaced all the bamboo culms 14 inches apart to leave space in between for the 12-inch jade tiles. Now, I'm going to give you a secret that will make your life so much easier when you're hanging these, and that is to use zip ties. Zip ties are easy for a person to use on their own. I mean, ideally you would have a second helper there, but if you're like me doing a lot of the stuff solo, then using the zip ties really simplifies matters immensely. Put the zip ties in place, stabilizes the jade tile, and then you can come back and tie it with the permanent steel wire. Use the zip ties to stabilize all four sides in the frame that you're anchoring the jade tile in, whether that's bamboo, rattan, wood, vinyl, cardboard, leather, I don't know. Just on each section, use the zip ties to stabilize it. Once you have the jade tile stabilized in place with the zip ties, it's time to come in with your tie wire that is going to support the weight of the jade tile. Wrap the length around there and twist it until it's secured. Don't over tighten it because you could potentially damage the jade tile. They are ceramic and somewhat fragile. Just twist it with a pair of pliers until it is snug. Then you're going to want to twist the tie knot inside so it can be covered up with the rope when you come back and finish this. And so you're going to do this on all four sides, 2 wires per side to keep it stable and anchored in the middle, so you're not going to have any shifting around. Repeat as necessary until you have it completely anchored in place. Once you have the jade tile fully wired into position, you can come back in with a sharp knife and cut away those zip ties. They're in the way otherwise. You're not going to leave them there. They're not serving any purpose at this point, so just cut them away and toss them. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. If you really like what you've been seeing here at A Moment of Tiki, please leave a comment or maybe even share the video to your feeds. What this does is make it easier for others to find A Moment of Tiki. And if you do that, I will be grateful. Mahalo. There's not much difference between installing the jade tile in the bamboo grid ceiling and installing the bamboo tile in a bamboo lattice that's horizontal here. All the steps are the same. You're going to use the wires and the zip ties to get the jade tile stabilized in the center before adding your rope. The ropes to the sides to keep it in place, that's exactly the same. The one difference is that if you're installing them in a series, installing the jade tiles in a series, you're going to loop the rope from one tile all the way across the bamboo to the other. So you're going to need an extra amount of rope. But beyond that, it's exactly the same. You're still going to use rope or twine ties in the center to anchor that in place. When it comes to tying off the ropes with your jade tile, I haven't found a completely satisfactory solution. Looked online in Tiki Central and nobody really went into it. So my solution, for the first part, it's obvious. Whichever side of your tile that is going to have less foot traffic, less visibility, that is the side you're going to want to tie it on. As for the actual knot, people who are more fluent and well-versed in rope work and knot work than I will probably have some type of vintage sailor knot that will dovetail nicely into the rope work and be well nigh invisible. In my case, I just went with basic square knots. For these that were outside, I made sure to put a dab of glue on each one because of the being in the weather and the elements. I feared that the ropes would eventually come undone, so gluing that in place helped stabilize it and make sure that that wasn't an issue. Now that everything's wired up, it's time to tie the jade tile into place. I am using coconut fiber rope simply because I have some and I like the aesthetics of it. It looks really cool. And you can use pretty much any type of rope, yarn, string, twine, thread, because remember, this is not load bearing. All it is doing is being pretty up there. We're wrapping it around, looping it around the jade tile over and over and over again through the openings to cover up and disguise the wires that are actually doing the structural heavy lifting. So loop it around minimum of 4 times. You can go 5 depending on how much you have. I cut mine to length for 4 loops around there. And once I get to the end, I tie it in a simple shoelace knot, just the over and under tightness. I don't go into loops, but the over and under on top, using the friction of the rope to hold it in place. Once I have the rope in place, I'm taking a length of jute twine, which is not load bearing, and then I'm going to wrap it around the middle of the rope. I am tying it over the top of the partial knot that I have tied the rope into on top, and the tension of the jute twine is going to hold that part of the rope in place so that it does not come loose. If you are installing this on a vertical panel, you can allow yourself more rope so you can get into the back and tie it in a more secure knot using a square knot or something like this. But with my circumstances, I just have the over and under loop between the jade tile and the reed fencing, and so I am using this jute twine to tie it down in place, secure it, making it fast so it will not come loose. Because of the way these tiles are fired in the kiln, the edges remain unglazed. The end result is that they don't match the jade green of the rest of the tile and can stand out and be eye-catching depending on how you have them mounted. To counter this, I have taken to painting the edges, a mix of various green acrylics to try and match the shade of green of the jade tiles. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You don't have to be neat. All you're trying to do is reduce the eye-catching factor so it doesn't stand out. All right, gang, the installation is finished, and I have to say this exceeded my expectations in every way. Whenever I start a project, I hope for the best but expect the worst, and that way I'm never disappointed. But this it's just a thing of beauty. I love every aspect of this ceiling mounted jade tile. Now, I hope that you folks at home learn from this that whether you're installing a Chinese jade breezeway tile horizontally in a ceiling or vertically in a frame of some sort, that the process is relatively simple and straightforward, that it's the time-consuming aspect. You have to take your time to do it right. Zip ties will help immensely simplify. Use that fencing wire for the internal structure and strength of load-bearing aspect, and then choose whatever type of rope or twine you prefer for the final aesthetic tie, and you're good to go. You can do single tiles, you can do rows of tiles. The sky is the limit. But for now, with this in place, I have to thank Stroud Specifics for making this possible and making these great tiles that are readily available now. So if you folks will excuse me, I've got another tile I have to install. Until next time, from the Lagoon of Mystery, aloha.
Well, if you ever feel lonely and you haven't got a friend, you feel downhearted and that's your rope's in, and to get yourself together and head for a place I know. It's a little German town with a Spanish name, and once you go there, you never be the same, and it's a whole lot cleaner and safer than Mexico. Well, it's 90 miles from Houston, 120 from San Antonio, and once you hit the city limit, you don't have to be alone. Every tavern salesman that's on the road, every trucker that's scared and overload knows a boom in a little bird they call a grain. If your ever loving woman won't treat you right, and your nights get longer and your pants get tight, then get yourself moving and get ready for a change. Some fella said money can't buy me love, but I know it could be. Speaking of that classic country town they call a grain. So if you got a little money and you feel uptight, go to LaGrange and they'll treat you right. Just stop at the filling station, give them half a chance. And they'll give you directions to a little retreat with the grade A government inspected meat, and they'll send you to the famous chicken ranch. Well, it's 90 miles from Houston, 120 from San Antonio, and I want you here to see today, but you don't have to be alone. Every traveling salesman that's on the road, every trucker that's carrying overloads, knows a two-minute little bird they call green. Every traveling salesman that's on the road, every trucker that's carrying overloads, knows a two-minute little bird they call green. Thank you.
Honey, that is a little country place out there. The people's tried to make it into something that it wasn't. Just a little country whore, that's what it amounted to.
Yeah.